Okay, we will practice with some example about balancing the chemical equation. Let's say we have uh, H2SO4, aqueous solution, plus KOH, aqueous solution, and that will give us K2SO4, aqueous solution, plus H2O. Okay, now when you are trying to balance a chemical equation, first of all, just check the chemical equation. Is it a balance or not? If it's balanced, you don't need to change anything. And don't forget also, if it's not balanced, we will change only the coefficient number, not subscript. Be careful, guys. Changing the subscript, changing the identity of the molecule, and that's totally wrong. We only change the coefficient number, which is the number of molecule or number of mole. Now, you can check quickly, like the hydrogen, for example, it is 2 here and 1 here. The total is 3 in the reacting side. Here we just have 2 in the product side, so the hydrogen is not balanced. Also the potassium, 2 potassium here, 1 potassium. If there is one element not balanced, we will say that chemical equation not balanced and we have to balance it. Now, how we will balance it? We will play with the coefficient number. We will change them until we get a balanced chemical equation. So first of all, let's start with potassium. Here, potassium, we have 2. Here, in the reacting side, we have 1. How you will make it balanced? Simply, you will multiply the KOH by 2. We will change the coefficient. Don't forget, we will not play with the subscript number. Okay, now the potassium is balanced. Let's look to the sulfate. When you have a polyatomic ion like sulfate appearing in both sides, it's better to deal with it as a unit. So here we have 1 SO4, here 1 SO4. So the sulfate, the SO4, it is balanced. Okay, now let's start with the hydrogen. Hydrogen in the reacting side, we have 2 here and 2 here, so it will be 4. Look at here, guys. The uh, coefficient number multiply everything's on the right side of it. So here we will have 2 oxygen, 2 potassium, 2 oxygen, and 2 hydrogen. So here I have the total 4 hydrogen in the reacting side. In the product side, I just have these 2 hydrogen in the water. How we will make it balanced? Simply you will multiply the water molecule in the product side by 2 to make the hydrogen 4 in each side. Now the last element we need to balance it, it is the oxygen. First of all, let's check if it's balanced or not. Here, in the reacting side right now, we have 2 oxygen. In the product side here, we have 2 oxygen. So it's balanced. Uh, you need to double check each of them from the beginning. So 2 potassium, 2 potassium, 1 sulfate, 1 sulfate, 4 hydrogen, 4 hydrogen, and 2 oxygen, 2 oxygen, everywhere in balance. So this is the balanced chemical equation. So the coefficient number will be 1 here, 2 here, 1 in the K2SO4, and 2 water. And this is the balanced chemical equation. Now let's practice with another example quickly. Let's say we have C2H6 plus O2, and that will give us CO2 plus H2O. Now, also, we will look if it's balanced or not. Simply from the carbon, it's not balanced, so we have to balance this chemical equation. We have 2 carbon, in the reacting side, 1 carbon in the product side. Simply you will multiply the CO2 by 2 as a coefficient number, and we will have 2 carbon on both sides. Then hydrogen. We have 6 hydrogen in the reacting side, 2 hydrogen in the product side. Multiply the water molecule by 3 as a coefficient number, and you will have 6 hydrogen. Now let's examine the oxygen. In oxygen in the reacting side, we have 2. Here we have 4 in the CO2 and 3 in the H2O. That give us 7 oxygen. Now how you will make it balance? So on the product side, we have 7 oxygen. Here, 2 oxygen. Now, in this situation, what you're going to do, you will use a fraction, but after that, we have to remove that fraction. So here, if you will multiply this 2 oxygen by 3.5, you will get 7 oxygen atom, which is equal to the 7 oxygen atom in the product side. But be careful, guys. You have to remove that fraction. We don't need any fraction to show up in the chemical formula or chemical equation. How you will remove that fraction? You will multiply all the equation, everything's inside it, by 2. Now, after you multiply it by 2, you have to write down everything from the beginning. So here will be 2, C2 at 6, plus 3.5 times 2 will give you 7, or 2. Here, 2 times 2 will give you 4 CO2. 3 times 2 give you 6 H2O. And this is the balanced chemical equation. As I said, don't forget, we don't need any fraction to show up in the chemical equation at the end.